Hey guys, welcome back to the online YouTube fast class. I hope I didn't lose you after the last couple videos. I'm so sorry, they're so boring. Computation is just kind of mind-numbing and you just have to power through it. So I hope you'll stick with me, and just remember, we're gonna get to the more interesting stuff later. We just gotta go over these basics first. So before we get going here, I just want to do a quick review. So I have two problems written down here. If you want to just take a minute and pause your video, write those problems down and solve, and then I'll show you the answers in a minute. So go ahead and pause, and then we'll go through the answers. All right, so for number one, we are adding. So 9 plus 3 is 12. 1 plus 8 is 9. Plus 1 is 10. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 7 is 11. So you should have 11 and 2. And then we've got subtraction here. 2 minus 1 is 1. 4 minus 8, can't do that. Cross out the 6 to a 5. Make that a 14. 14 minus 8 is 6. 5 minus 3 is 2. So you should have ended up with 261. Okay, we are going to move on to multiplying whole numbers. So I'm just going to go to my next paper here. All right, so I've got 4 problems for you to do, and then I'm going to have you do one on your own. So before we start about multiplying whole numbers, let me this up a little bit. Multiplying whole numbers, it is so important for you to know your times tables. If you can do multiplication of your basic numbers of, digits 0 through 12, multiplying them together, it's gonna make this stuff so much faster. So I'm gonna show you a picture of a couple apps that you can download. That will really help you get to memorizing your times tables. There's also, you could make flashcards, you can buy flashcards at pretty much any store for multiplication. Do them with your kids, do them with your spouse, do them with your buddy that you're staying with in the barracks, whatever, okay? But you definitely should get on knowing your times tables because it's gonna make this stuff so much faster. Okay, so let's talk about multiplying whole numbers. So when you're multiplying whole numbers, kind of like when you're adding and subtracting, you want to make sure your digits are flushed to the right, okay? So go ahead and, before we get started, go ahead and pause the video, and you can write down these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 problems. And make sure you give yourself plenty of space underneath them because we're going to need some room, okay? All right, so let's start with 29 times 3. We are multiplying a 2-digit number by a 1-digit number. What I like to do, and you can do it your own way if you like, everybody was taught differently. I like to stack the number that has the most amount of digits on top and the least amount on the bottom. But if you were taught a different way, by all means do the way that's easiest for you. I'm going to be teaching just the standard algorithm, so no boxes that you might have seen your kids seen your kids doing in school, which is kind of related to Common Core. We are just doing the standard algorithm because it's the fastest. Common Core has its place, but this stuff, the standard algorithm, is simply faster. Okay, so we're going to start by multiplying this number on the bottom. We're going to multiply it by each number up on the top. So starting with the one on the right, I'm going to multiply 3 times 9, and then I'm going to do 3 times 2. So 3 times 9 is 27. So I'm going to carry the 2, put the 7 below. And then 3 times 2 is 6. I am going to add this 2, so that gives me 8, and you're done. Okay, pretty easy. So let's do a 2-digit number times a 2-digit number. So same process, we're going to multiply this number by each of the digits up top. And then once we're done with that, we're going to move on to this digit in the tens place, the 1, and we're going to do the same process. Multiply this number by the 3 and this number by the 4. So let's start with 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. Now, what I like to do to keep myself organized is once I'm done with the digit of multiplying it, I cross it out so I know it's done. Then, before I can start multiplying this 1 by these digits, you have to do something very important right here, which is put a placeholder. And we do this because we worked in the ones digit here before. The 2 is in the ones place. Now we're on the tens digit. So technically we are multiplying 10 times 3, which is 30, and then 10 times 4, which is 40. So when you're doing this, when you move on to the second digit, you need to add a place marker right here, or you can do an X if you want. So 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 4 is 4, and I'm done. Done with that digit. Okay, now what I do with these guys, just add them together. So we have 6, 11, and 5. Okay, so you should have ended up with 516. All right, next one. 319 times 26. If you want to go ahead and pause and do it on your own, if you think you've got it, go ahead and do that, and then I'll work it out quietly off to the side here. And the reason I'm erasing these numbers up top is because I don't want to confuse myself when I'm moving on this to this digit, because those numbers only applied when I was multiplying with this 6. All right. So for number 3, you should have ended up with 82.94. It's really important with this stuff that you take your time and you keep yourself organized. Make sure when you're lining these numbers up that they're in the right place so you don't add the wrong numbers, okay? So make sure you just take your time with this multiplication because it's too easy to make a silly mistake. All right, if you want to go ahead and try this one on your own and pause the video and I will work it out on the side. Take your time with this one. Don't make any silly mistakes because one wrong digit will mess up your entire answer. Okay, so here we go. All right, so hopefully you ended up with 988,104. If you didn't, you probably just made a silly mistake in your computation and your multiplying. So again, just make sure you take your time, that you know your times tables, because that will help you so much. All right, one more on your own, and go ahead and pause the video and I'll write out the answer on this side. Okay, and for this one, you should have ended up with 50,608. All right, so I am going to do another video for dividing whole numbers, so go ahead and check that one out. Again, if this is helping you, please do me a big favor and hit your subscribe button or like this video. Tell your friends if you think that this might be something that will benefit them for an online GT improvement class. All right, guys.